Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 3 and we will be presenting on Ibnu al-Haytham.
Abu Ali al-Hassan ibn al-Haytham, known in the West as al-Hassan or al-Hazin, was born in 965 in the city of Basra in southern Iraq and died in Cairo, Egypt in the year 1040. He was an Arab scientist, polymath, mathematician, astronomer, and philosopher who made significant contributions to the principles of optics, astronomy, mathematics, meteorology, visual perception, and the scientific method. He is known as the father of modern optics for his influential book Kitab al-Manazil. He also wrote more than 200 works on a wide range of subjects, of which at least 96 of his scientific works are known and approximately 50 of them have survived today. Some of his famous and influential books are Kitab al-Manazir, the Book of Optics, Risalah fi al-Dawa, Treatise on Light, Mizan al-Hikmah, Balance of Wisdom, Maqalah fi al-Qarastun, Treatise on Centers of Gravity, Risalah fi al-Makan, Treatise on the Place, Al-Shukuk al-Batlaymius, Doubts Concerning Ptolemy, on the configuration of the world, the model of the motion of the 7 planets, and other books as well.
My name is Norshafira and now I will continue this video with Ibnu al-Haytham's work related to psychology. Ibnu al-Haytham is rightly credited with many advances in optics and vision science, but recent claims that he is the founder of psychophysics are based on unsupported assertion, a conflation of psychophysics with the broader discipline of psychology, and semantic arguments over what it means to found a school of thought. He did not employ psychophysics in the sense of making quantitative judgment as a function of stimulus variables. However, he did make qualitative assessments on a range of psychological phenomena such as the moon illusion and induced motion. During his time in prison, he published several important books and chapters on physics, maths, engineering, astronomy, medical psychology, anatomy, visual perception, and ophthalmology. He penned the scientific methodology introduction. In his work, he makes an important observation that leads him to believe that the eyes receive light reflected from objects rather than emitting light themselves, which contradicts current ideas such as those of Ptolemy and Euclid. Moreover, Ibnu al-Haytham created rigorous experimental processes of controlled scientific testing in order to evaluate theoretical hypotheses and substantiate inductive conjectures. His scientific method was quite similar to the current scientific method, and it included a cycle of observation, hypothesis, experimentation, and independent verification. Other than that, he was also the forerunner of the current scientific method, according to the majority of the historian. He redefined the term optic with his work and established experiments as the gold standard for proof in this area. His research was founded on experimental facts rather than abstract notions, and his research was methodical and reproducible. Additionally, he was the first to precisely define the many elements of the eye and to provide a scientific explanation for how vision works. He made significant advances in medicine and ophthalmology, and he was the first to study and correctly explain the process of sight and visual perception. He went into great depth about the many elements of the eye and proposed that items are viewed by rays of light emerging from the objects rather than the eyes as was previously thought. And he was saying something along the line that light and color on the surface of the pondered item are perceived by sight. All items must be perceived by supposed straight line that stretch between the object and the sight's focal point.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Silmi Ulinnuha and I will be I will be presenting about Ibn al-Haytham's contributions to the field of psychology. He contributed greatly to two different sections of psychology, the first being visual perception. Some view Ibn al-Haytham to be the father of experimental psychology because of his experimental work on the psychology of visual perception in the Book of Optics. Ibn al-Haytham was the first scientist to propose in the third book of the Book of Optics that vision occurred in the brain rather than the eyes. He emphasized that personal experience influences what and how individuals perceive, and that vision and perception are subjective. He went into depth on various vision abnormalities, including how a little child with less experience may have more difficulties understanding what they see. He also provided an illustration of an adult who might make vision inaccuracies because their experience suggests that they are seeing one thing when they are actually seeing something different. Ibn al-Haytham introduced the idea of a sensory core that processes visual inputs in the Book of Optics, which was extremely complex, encompassing mathematical, anatomical and physio-psychological components. The second section that Ibn al-Haytham also contributed to is psychophysics. While others believe that he is the father of experimental psychology, some believe that Ibn al-Haytham is also the founder of psychophysics, a separate subfield of psychology, although this is a minority viewpoint. So what is psychophysics in this context? Psychophysics is a set of quantitative, statistical, and mathematical approaches for linking changes in the amplitude of physical stimuli to perception. There is no indication that Ibn al-Haytham applied quantitative psychophysical procedures, even though he made many subjective reports about vision. That is all from me. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mohd Rahim, material number 200965, and inshallah I'll be sharing on our opinion of the application of Ibn al-Haytham's work in the current situation or the current era. As a recap, Ibn al-Haytham is known as the founder of the experimental psychology, and for his work, he went into great depth about the many elements of the eye and proposed that items are viewed by ray of light emerging from the objects rather than the eyes, as was previously thought. The light and color that exists on the surface of the pondered item are seen by sight. All items are perceived by vision through prism straight lines that stretch between the objects and the vision. As for our opinion towards Ibn al-Haytham's work in the current era, our group believes that his approach is still largely accepted today, since scientists have demonstrated, scientists have proved that light reaches the eye directly from a source such as the sun, or indirectly by reflecting off an object. A single point of light from a source or reflected by an object must travel the structures of the eye and end up as a single point on the retina for us to see clearly. This shows that his finding is still in line with the current research finding, current scientific finding. That's all for me. That's all from us as a group. Thank you so much for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Nur Alia Natasha, and I will continue with the opinion of the application of Ibn al-Haytham's work in the current time. Ibn al-Haytham, who discovers the fundamental nature of light, becomes the pioneer in optics. The invention of camera obscura, in which he experimented by making a pinhole for light to pass through the window shutter and project onto the opposite wall. This understanding of vision led to the invention of modern camera and was applied in the basis of photography, also in the world of media and communications that we view every day. In addition to it, the invention of camera obscura also the start of the discovering on how human eyes function and see. His work then applied in education of science and psychology, such as the study on the structure of the eyes and the eye surgery, and the psychology of visual perception. Even though Ibn al-Haytham did not involve in the invention of the telescope, but the work of his is applied in it. He did a complete formulation of the laws of reflection and a detailed investigation of refraction, in which correctly explained by lights moving slower in denser mediums. The shape of the mirror or lens used in the telescope is to concentrate light. The curved mirrors gather and focus light from the night sky, and that light is what we see through the telescope. The application of Ibn al-Haytham's work makes a big change in the world, especially through his work, Kitab al-Manazir, or Book of Optics, as most of the inventions in the current time are based on his discoveries.
That is all from us. Thank you very much.